Good evening, Fanwood. Welcome to the start of the regular scheduled meeting of the mayor and council. We are coming here tonight live with a great group of community people behind us, doing a shout out to SPF, United Through, serving our community. So we love our community. We're glad we're here as a group. And now on to the meeting. And now we will officially open up our meeting. I hereby announce and request that such be included in the minutes of this meeting, that notice of the time, date, and place of the meeting has been promptly posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, mailed to the Times, the Courier News, the Patch, and Alternative Press by January 10th, 2018, and mailed in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act to anyone requesting the same. May we please all stand right now for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask that you remain standing for your own moment of silence. Thank you. Mrs. Montgomery, may we have a roll call, please?
Anthony Carter.
Present.
Leslie Hugo.
Present.
Tom Krantz.
Here.
Ellen McElroy Bunker.
Here.
Kathy Mitchell.
Here.
Jack Molinoy. Leanne Moore.
Here. I'd next like to have a motion to move several minutes of meetings that the council have had. It was our last meeting in September 17th, and a special meeting we held on October 1st, and our agenda meeting on October 1st.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm now going to go over to the podium. So good evening. Good evening. And thank you everyone in the audience for participating in that group shot, of which John Mooney completely missed. That was a good one. We start off each of our council meetings with bringing a little attention to a resident that lives in our community that we think goes above and beyond the call of living and giving back, but actually deserves a very public thank you. And tonight, we are honoring someone from our all-volunteer fire department. I would like to call up Joe Route, please, to please come here. And I would also like to call up our Chief Picola as well. So, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you. This is just a very small way that the mayor and the council can publicly just say thank you for everything that you do. You're a familiar face to us with the fire department, with the fire company, whether it is at our special events, whether it is at the tree trimming, whether it's selling the trees, and whether it's at a time of great need when people are in trouble. Joe lives here in Fanwood with his wife Rita and their 4 children, Nicholas, Lucas, Emma, and Aiden. And he joined the fire department back in 2005. And he also gives back because you're a teacher as well.
Yes.
A public school teacher?
Yeah.
Public school teacher in Livingston. He is an active firefighter, and he currently serves as the secretary of the Fanwood Fire Company Relief Association. And that association is the organization within the police department that keeps vital statistics and communications between the state and local relief associations, logging in service time, and it handles all the paperwork associated with benefits that our volunteer fire department gets. Chief, would you like to say a few words?
I'd just like to say I've known Joe for a long time. He's really been a good friend. His family is an excellent family. They're really good for this town. Joe was not as busy. I know it bothers him that he can't get out as much as he used to be able to get out. So he took on this other role with the Relief Association. That takes a lot of time, and it's really important. It has something to do with death benefits and service time, and it's really important. I know Joe always says, I don't really get out as much. It means a lot to us that you make sure you take care of the guys, and you take care of their paperwork, and you've always been that positive role model for everybody. So I think this is a great honor, Mayor. Thank you very much for doing this. Joe,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thanks, Chief.
This is very, very well deserved.
So this is, for those who don't know, this is a picture of our historic train station, and this is what we give out each month to the volunteer of the month, because as we've said over the last several years, we believe that this is sort of the crown jewel of Fanwood. This is what people, when they think of Fanwood, this is what they think of. And we want you to know how much we appreciate what you have done for our community, what you give back, raising your family here, and choosing to participate as a volunteer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
please.
very much.
Please.
I just want to thank Chief. I want to thank the Mayor and the Council. This is appreciated. I'm sure it can go to so many other people, but you chose me, so it's much appreciated. Thank you so much.
I asked the chief to stay with me because this is National Fire Prevention Week, and this is why we have the chief here, and we thought, again, it was appropriate also to honor a volunteer fire department individual, and we know how important our volunteer fire department is to our community. And this year's theme is Look, Listen, Learn, because fires can happen anywhere. And there are key messages from our firemen that we would like to make sure the public understands. Practice your drill 2 times a year. Plan 2 ways out. When out, stay out. Be sure house numbers are visible to our local fire department. Close doors behind you as you leave. And whereas half of all the United States home fire deaths occur at night between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., when most people are likely to be sleeping. And statistics tell us that in 2015, the fire departments responded to over 365,000 home structure fires. That's roughly 3 out of 5 home fire deaths, resulting in homes which either no smoke alarm was present or one alarm was present but inoperable. And that on average, 7 people die in home fires every day. So we are proud tonight to honor and to dedicate this evening to the members of the Fanwood Fire Department for their exceptional service to our community, and to the annual education program that give our school children every year, showing them ways to protect themselves. So I'm very proud, along with the council, to recognize what our Fanwood Volunteer Fire Department does. Chief, please say a few words.
Thank you, everybody. This is an important proclamation. There's a lot of good information in here. If you just listen to it, think about fire prevention. We think about fire prevention 365 days a year. A lot of things happen in a house. It's not only night. The kitchen is no place to play. We try to teach the kids in the schools a lot of information. We only get a month to do it. It seems like a lot of time, but we have guys out almost every day at different schools. It's very important. You know, the holidays are coming. There's Christmas trees in houses. There's people who are overloading outlets and using cheaper extension cords. There's so much information that could be in this proclamation, and this scratches the surface. But if we stay on top of the children, it's the biggest thing. We teach them early and teach them often. They'll get it, and they do get it, and they appreciate it. And we see it. We notice the numbers are going down in some of the accidental things that happen with the kids. But bad things happen, so, just remember, if you need us, we're there. You call us, we'll come, we always do.
Yes, you do. So let me ask you this, as we head into the holiday season, what are the things that we really should remember?
Really remember, if you have a Christmas tree in your house, keep it watered, and don't use cheaper dollar store electrical outlet cords. That's really dangerous. They get pulled, they fail easily, and that's one of the most important things. And just keep an eye on your kids. I mean, we all did, we have kids, keep an eye on them. They're gonna play, they're gonna get into mischief, there's gonna be things for them to do. You gotta keep an eye on them, because they're always into something, Mayor. I don't have to tell you that. I raised 3, my youngest is 29, they're all in the fire department. It happens to the best of them, and we just gotta stay on top of our
And
kids.
so finally, I'll ask you to do a little plug. So tell us right now, how many members do we have on our department?
Well, we have 34 active members, 35, I believe. I'm hoping to see before the end of the year, maybe 4 or 5 more. We've got some guys scratching at the door right now. And we spent last night in Scotch Plains. We do a lot of good work with them. We chased the smoke condition for a couple hours at one of the churches last night. Till 1 o'clock in the morning, we went out again at 4 to somewhere local at the bank with a fire alarm. It was a busy night. The guys, I appreciate you being here. I know they're all tired. They look a little tired. I was a little tired myself, but you know what? You go when you can. You know what? When you join the fire department, I ask for one thing, is that you give me 100% of your available time. Nobody can be there 100% of the time, but if you're available, make it work for us, and these guys all do that, and I really give them a round of applause. It's I appreciate all of that.
Thank you very much. Kathy Mitchell, I'll have you come up here and help me with the Friends of the Library. And I'd like to call forward those that are here tonight that are our Friends of the Library that will be accepting the proclamation, please.
Okay, whereas this is the 13th anniversary of National Friends of Libraries Week, and Friends of the Fanwood Library raise money that enables our library to move from good to great, providing the resources for adults and children's programming, much needed equipment, support for children's summer reading, and other items that libraries' operating budgets cannot cover. And Friends of the Fanwood Library are dedicated members who promote, advocate, and fundraise for the Fanwood Library. Whereas the work of the Friends highlights an ongoing basis the fact that our library is the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in, the joy of lifelong learning and contact and thoughts and ideas of others from ages past to the present. The Friends of the Library understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our library gets the resources it needs to provide a wide variety of services to all ages, including access to print and electronic media, along with expert assistance in research, readers advisory, and children's services. The Friends' gift of their time and commitment to the library sets an example for all in how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. Now therefore, Colleen Marr, the Mayor of Fanwood, does hereby proclaim October 21st through the 27th as Friends of Libraries Week in Fanwood, New Jersey, and urges everyone to join the Friends of the Library and thank them for all they do to make our library and community so much better. And I think the library is going to tell you how much money they made, so I'll let them do that. But I just want to make another comment too, that in all of these articles that you read that says, you know, the 10 best or the 25 highest scoring towns that are best to live in, two of the consistent things are always parks and libraries. So we are very fortunate to have the library dedication that we do have. So Carolyn has.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce some of our board that's here. Jane Van Hastren handles the Museum Pass program, which is very popular, and she will be announcing soon the winner of the Harry Potter ticket drawing. Catherine Balch We couldn't exist without Catherine. She's a very passionate library user on all levels and does our publicity, coordinates our annual newsletter, and edits that. Sally Hogan and her husband Larry were tremendous help for our book sale recently. Sally contributed, I think, 55 hours, volunteered to coordinate 600 hours plus volunteer hours went into the book sale. So that's an incredible, I think, accomplishment. And we made $12,800. All use other people's books, right. And I just quickly want to say that the Friends of the Fanwood Library have a lot of friends. We couldn't have done the book sale and a lot of what we do without people like, and departments like DPW. I think Clint is speaking to me again, but if he's not, I understand why. And Pat Hoynes and Eleanor, the Recreation Department, Bob Budiansky, who's giving us this space when he could be earning money with that space. Boy Scout Troop 33, who helps us annually and is a big help. And this year we had a wonderful team group who helped us in lots of ways, and we hope to grow that team group next year. And Scotch Plains, Scotch Plains Library and residents of Scotch Plains who played a major role in our book sale. And I want to say that the Growing Friends campaign conducted by Phyllis Brown, we just broke 100 new members and readers. So we're very pleased about that. Yeah, we exceeded our goal, so we're very happy about that. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
By the way, this is Carol Campbell, and none of this would happen without her. It's amazing what she does, and she makes us grow.
So, thank you to the Friends, who is there all the time to support the good work of the library itself, and to be able to raise $12,000 in basically over a weekend of book sales is pretty tremendous. And it just shows, again, the dedication that the community has. I'd like to call up the representatives here that are here tonight from First Children Hospital in Fanwood. And I think that there's probably many that maybe don't realize what First Children's does, where they're located in Fanwood, and the fact that they're actually celebrating 10 years here in Fanwood. Because I can remember when you first came in here, and I'm actually talking about the facility that's located on South Avenue in Fanwood, right next to, is it Twin Rivers? Is that Twin Rivers? Two Rivers, yeah, the Goddard School, that sets back a little from South Avenue and also has a side on LeGrand Avenue. And I'm very happy that the principal, Kathleen Gorski, is here tonight, as well as the owner of First Children's, Matthew Hess. And I've asked them to come here because celebrating a 10-year anniversary is one thing, but they are really doing part of the Lord's work in how they help educate and treat sort of the sickest children that are there, the probably severely disabled children that come from all over our area every day via bus to come in and try to give them what they deserve, which is an education. So First Children's in Fanwood is a private school for students with disabilities, and they serve students in grades pre-K through high school, specializing in educating students with multiple disabilities who are extremely medically fragile, developmentally, intellectually, and or physically disabled, deaf, or hard of hearing, and visually impaired. First Children's School is staffed by professional, talented, and experienced teachers and therapists who offer physical, occupational, speech, behavioral therapy services to students. They also house a special place child care center which is an inclusive daycare center serving children 8 weeks to 6 years old. And this program meets the different developmentally stages of individuals of each child. So we are honored here in Fanwood to have First Children's Hospital as a neighbor in our community. And we wanted to personally thank them here for their dedicated service to children in need. They offer hope to parents, they offer hope to families, and we really wish them so many more years of success.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. And good evening. Yeah, so it's hard to believe we've been 10 years with our school program here in Fanwood. We acquired that program from Children's Specialized Hospital in July of 2009, and really built on a lot of the success that they had in that building since the mid-'80s. And over the last, say, 10 years, we've actually developed to, today we serve about 1,200 kids throughout 16 counties of the state with an employee network of about 450 people. And our mission is simple, not so easy though, is life-changing outcomes for exceptional kids. So a lot of people talk about what they do. For us, it's why we do it. So for kids in our school, that life-changing outcome might be able to eat solid food. In other programs we run, it's to get a child with autism into their regular preschool program in their home school district. So it's all about those outcomes. Fanwood has been a wonderful home for our school. We deal with a lot of towns and municipalities throughout the state, and none rival Fanwood in professionalism, and everything from the police and fire have been amazing to our staff, students, and to the mission of the organization. So I thank you for having us.
Yeah, I would just like to say I've raised my own 4 children in Fanwood, and they went through the school system. And we lived on LeGrand Avenue, so all the time we would take the kids up the block on LeGrand, and they'd say, "Mommy, we want to play in that playground." "Oh no, guys, that's private. You can't play in that playground." And then on the other side, we would see this building. Like, what is that? Never thought all these years later I would have the privilege of being the principal of that school. And like Matthew said, we serve children age 3 through high school, and we're growing. We have 90 students in the school. About 1/3 of our school population has some form of deafness or hard of hearing, autism, physically, cognitively, developmentally challenged. So don't get too angry when you see the 50 buses pulling up every morning to drop these kids off, and the same at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they pick them all up. We receive children from about 28 surrounding towns, including Scotch Plains, Fanwood, and 7 counties. So thank you for having us, and it's been a blessing. Thank you.
So our last proclamation is very, very special to myself. And I'd like to call up Tom Plant and Adele Kenny. And as they make their way up here, they represent our Cultural Arts Committee. And this year, in 2018, our Cultural Arts Poetry Series is celebrating 20 years. So, and I want to just sort of reiterate that again, because it shouldn't be lost on anybody that the Cultural Arts Commission can sustain an award-winning poetry series for 20 years. So first of all, and even though we are a very small community, we really take our cultural arts to heart. Because we started this commission. We don't necessarily have to have a cultural arts commission. There are many communities that don't have a cultural arts commission. We don't have to have, you know, our carriage house, which is the Pat Curran Cultural Center. There are many towns that don't have a place dedicated to the arts. So it was a very cognitive desire to make sure that while, we do our government and we provide the services day to day, that we remember things like the library and we remember the arts. And so Adele Kenny, with her faithful partner, Tom Plant, have really come to embody the cultural arts here in Fanwood, specifically the poetry. And several years ago, we actually created our own poet laureate position, which Adele has. So back in 1998, in December, Adele Kenny established the Cultural Arts Poetry Series. And since then, more than 350 nationally recognized and regional poets have been featured right here at the Carriage House Poetry Series. Highly esteemed poetry series adheres to its goal of creating a venue through which New Jersey poets and poets from outside of the state can bring their talent to the public, where all the readings are free of charge, where members of the audience can actually get up and share their own poems with the community. And they have featured poets that actually range from 10 years old to 90 years old. The Carriage House Poetry Series has hosted international poetry contests with entries that have come from all over the United States, Canada, England, Nigeria, India, Italy, and France. And Kathy Mitchell serves as the council liaison. Adele Kenny is the director. Tom Plant is the assistant director. David Bleckinger, Catherine Anderson, Carol Oakes, Alex Pinto, Linda Radis, Robert Rosenblum, Catherine Watson, Gary Zelk, and Jan Ziegler make up the commission, who dedicate themselves to enriching the lives of Fanwood residents with cultural programs. So we're here tonight to celebrate 20 years of opening up our minds and our hearts and our souls to really think beyond what goes on like right in front of us, and to understand and have a love of the written word and the creative word. So Adele, come over here, because we're going to have also a really big party coming up to celebrate the 20th anniversary, right?
Thanks to you,
Well,
yes.
we like a party here. So please first talk about what we're doing next month at the Carriage House for the 20th anniversary.
Well, before we do that, tomorrow night, we're doing our annual Halloween
right.
poetry reading, which is called Monster Mash.
Dress
Last
up.
year, we did Poets Apocalypse. It was all zombies. So this year, it's going to be all monsters of any kind. We invite the public to come, as Mayor Moore said, it's always free. We don't raise money like the Friends of the Library, I wish we could, but our programming is always free. And people who come in costume and would like to read are invited to bring a poem and share it with the audience. So we have, I think, 7 or 8 featured poets. Over the years, the Carriage House series has featured Pulitzer Prize winners, National Book Award winners, Ruth Lilly Prize winners, chancellors of the Academy of American Poets. We went from being very local and small time to being now, by the grace of God, nationally recognized for not only the quality of our programming, but for our longevity. And really, we have the mayor and council to thank for that, because they're the people who support us and make sure that we have sufficient funding to keep our programming going. Early on, one of our goals was to bring the written word into Fanwood and to celebrate this particular form of literature and to make programming free in a venue that's non-judgmental, not exclusive, not elitist, just a place where people can come and feel comfortable and share famous poets' works and their own works as well. But we also had as a goal to put Fanwood and Union County on New Jersey's cultural map. And we've done that, so we're very, very grateful. This is a special anniversary.
20 years.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about the event we're going to do.
Well, we're going to have a party. There will be music by Brian Solardo. There will be guest speakers. And then it's going to be a big open reading, lots of refreshments. Mayor Moore will be there.
What's the date?
Going to talk. It's November 8th. It's a Thursday night at 8 p.m. in the Korean Arts Center.
Thank you.
So we hope you'll come.
Mayor, may I just say something to Adele?
Sure.
I belong to a book club, and I didn't put it together until right now. Our reading for this month is Frankenstein.
Oh, there you go, Monster Mash.
Back in 1998, I don't know what I was thinking, but I said to Adele, you know, I'll do press releases, how about that? And she said, sure, and here, 20 years later, we're still plugging away, but she brings in all the authors, she organizes all that, makes a calendar throughout the year, and with her connections and the people she's met over the years, they come from far and wide, and you just never know who the speakers are going to be and the open mic people are going to be, and we bring people from all over Union County, Middlesex County, Somerset County, and we bring outsiders into Fanwood, and they get to see how wonderful our town is, as well as the venue, which they all love because of the wooden, everything, the acoustics and everything else. So we really appreciate having a place for poetry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to have a motion to move as noted the presentation of communications and referrals.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, oh, that's right, the Fanwood Lions Club is going to use the park for their sale of Christmas trees, the installation of the nativity scene, and the planning board has agreed to move forward with adopting the resolution in the area of need of redevelopment, which was sent down to them for Old South Avenue. Okay, we'll go right on to our standing committee reports. Councilman Krantz.
Thanks, Mayor. First, I want to move the monthly tax collector's report. Collections for the month of September were $814,848.28 for a year-to-date total of $24,999,988.77.
Second.
Do you have a second?
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
For you.
Okay, under public safety, Councilman Carter.
Thank you. From our Fanwood Police Department, we have our monthly report for September 2018. Total calls for police assistance through CAD system, 1,008. Total calls for police assistance through 911 terminal, 10. Motor vehicle stops for various violations, a total of 366. Total summonses issued, 377. Motor vehicle moving violation summonses, 117. Non-moving violations, 188. Parking summonses, 71. DWI, 0. Total adult arrests for the month, 11. Arrest on warrants, 9. Criminal mischief, 1. Fraud, 1. Total juvenile arrest, 0. Total crimes reported, 9. Thefts or larceny, there were 3. Fraud, 3. Criminal mischief, 3. And that concludes the monthly report for the police department. And for Jack Molinar, councilman who's not present, he asked me to present his report for the fire department for the month of September. And total emergency calls for the month of September, 29. That includes commercial and residential fire alarms, smoke conditions, down wires, flooding, or water conditions. In particular, on September 11, 2018, at 7:36, they responded to a house fire on Stout Avenue in Scotch Plains, quickly under control, minimal damage to the residents, and all residents and pets were safely removed. September 18th, 2018, at 4:02 a.m., there was a pet rescue on Elm Avenue, and I'm reading this verbatim.
I can see that.
There was a blind dog, Stella,
Stella.
got her leg tangled in the legs of a metal plant stand. After the owner tried to free her for close to an hour, she called for help. Within 15 minutes from her call, Stella was freed without serious injury, and all was well on Elm Avenue. That
Good night,
concludes
Lucy.
the fire report for September 2018.
Thank you. Councilman Molinar is not here. Councilman Ugal?
Do you want me to do his public works?
Oh, sure, didn't know you had it.
I do. I get to play Jack tonight. Okay. So Public Works for, as of October 15th, they did all their routine stuff, all the leaves, all the lawn mowing, all the maintenance of the parks and community centers. Highlights. There were a lot of winds recently, a lot of fallen branches. DPW spent a lot of time removing all the fallen branches and tree residue. They also completed the annual bulk waste pickup in September in all quadrants of the borough. A detailed report of what was involved in that is going to be in November. They helped with the book sale for Friends of Family setup, cleanup, and assisted the PMUA in getting all the books that needed to be recycled after the sale was over. And they've been doing leaf pickup this fall, and that will continue. Tom, what's the name of that recycle app that people can see? when they're leaf
Recycle
pickup?
Coach.
Recycle Coach is where you can go if you want to know when your quadrant is coming up for leaf pickup, or recycling pickup for that matter. And then the tonnage, you guys like to hear about the tonnage, right? Okay.
I thought you were gonna skip it, but.
No, I'm not going to skip it. So the total as of September 20th for 2018, we are at 548.51 tons of recycling, which is up 25.32 tons from last year. That concludes Jack's report.
Thank you.
Is it my turn now?
Yes.
Oh,
Or
okay.
is it Russ's turn?
I don't know.
It's Russ's turn.
No.
It won't be as heartwarming as Councilman Carter's or as splendid as yours, but I have the Historic Preservation Commission, attended the meeting last week. The 4 Centuries Weekend is this weekend. I know it crept up on us, it's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, starting at 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock on both days. So the Saturday was a little bit of a time change, usually it starts at 10, it's starting at 12 o'clock noon on Saturday and 12 o'clock noon on Sunday. I will be there Sunday to assist you with your historical questions. There was an interesting donation made to Fanwood, a historical donation. You aware of this, Mary?
I am.
About the painting?
Yes, I met the.
It was,
painter.
you did, I didn't catch his name, but it was a donation of a painting of our train station from 1958. And the donor, his father was Mayor Hatfield.
Yes, so right behind Diane, I think, is somewhere, right,
Right here.
Hatfield?
Just trying to-
Yes. So I attended the,
54 to 57.
right, so I attended the high school reunion for the first class that graduated from the Scotch Plains Fanwood High School when it was a brand-new building. And so they had their reunion, and they invited me, and the son of the mayor came up, he was a graduate, and we started to talk, and he said he was a painter, And he said he had paintings of the train station, and then I said, well, wouldn't it be great if you loaned it to us? And they're really an unbelievably cool,
Never
and
had
he's
something.
gone on to be a very renowned painter
Right, yes.
out of Maine,
Right.
who does all sorts of work and has an extremely large following.
Right,
Yeah,
so
so
if
it's-
you want to come see the painting, you come to the Fanwood Museum, which is open on the first Sunday of every
Yes.
month in the afternoon. So that's that. The other thing that I want to announce tonight, so it doesn't creep up on us, is that the year 2020 is going to be Fanwood's 125th anniversary.
Huh.
So I want everybody to get ready for that now, tonight.
Huh,
So, and that would conclude my report.
there you go.
And you said it wasn't going to be exciting.
And
I,
then
under
125,
promised.
120.
120,
125,
125 years.
$1.25.
Okay, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Okay, and Councilwoman Barker,
Back
you
to me.
can wrap us up.
Okay, yeah. So the Rec Commission met last on September 25th. Reviewed summer, it was a success by all standards. Camp's well attended. There's some progress moving forward slowly on Forest Road Master Plan, and now the idea of pickleball has been thrown in there, possibly instead of handball or in addition to handball. We're waiting to see. Most importantly, I think, are the two events coming up this month for recreation. So this is the first, the Fanwood 5K and Superhero Run.
Sunday, right?
Yes, this Sunday, October 21st. I will not be there with my dogs dressed in superhero costumes this year because I will be out of town, so hopefully somebody will take my place. This is a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's back to Sunday morning, which is usually well attended. It's nice and cool for a good run. So we have masks and capes for the little ones. If you register online, you should be able to get a t-shirt if you register by 10/19 online. If you forget to register online, you can show up that day, you can register that day, and they're also doing some registration the night before. We're always happy to have volunteers on the race route that day to gently turn cars around who are trying to drive on the route. The more the merrier when it comes to volunteers. So this is a great fun event. So please join us, and I believe we usually get bagels and other things from Fanwood Bagels for runners and runners' families. And then Wednesday the 31st is Halloween. It kicks off in front of the library. And this year, the Harvest Switch is flying in at 5 o'clock on the library lawn. The parade then will start at 5:30, landing in LeGrand Park, and there's usually a costume contest. What are you doing now?
Well, 5:30 or so.
The parade kicks off-ish.
Ish.
It's on kid time, so, anyway, the costume contest lands in LeGrand Park, usually kicks off around 6:30. Come get free donuts and cider served by your friendly neighborhood council people who will be volunteering that night. And, that's it. Those are the two big ones that are happening this month.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Before we get on to the business at hand, as we sit here, oh, did I not get you, Kathy? No.
You're not on the agenda.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Sorry.
Sorry
Just
about
for
that.
that, I have a very long report tonight. Okay, I didn't get to go to the seniors meeting today, but at their last meeting, they did give out flu shots. So I'm just here to encourage all, particularly, well, everybody to get a flu shot, but particularly our seniors, because just because of age, many seniors have chronic diseases, and you just don't want to get the flu. Are we giving out flu shots in town? Well, Board of Health.
I don't believe so,
I don't, okay, all right.
because last year it was very poorly attended.
Okay, so there are various places around the various pharmacies and of course your own healthcare providers where you can get your flu shots. Also, the county runs a nutrition program, and it's called the Union County Senior Nutrition Program, and it occurs every Tuesday in Scotch Plains at Shady Rest. Actually, I got there last week, but it was, because I wanted to see how everything was, and I got there a little bit late, and first of all, they ran out of food, and second of all, it was almost over. But so that they don't run out of food again, you must register like the Thursday before, so that this doesn't happen, so they do have enough food. But it's, from what I understand from everybody who goes, it is a Union County thing, and it goes on at various places throughout the county, Elizabeth, Union, Linden, but of course ours is right next door in Scotch Plain. So if this is something that, and it's $1.75, they ask for a donation of $1.75. If you can't afford that, there is no fee. So it's pretty crowded. They serve quite a few people, but they do have to know in advance. So call Scotch Plains. The number is 908-322-5151 if this is something you think you might want to do. And I would advise you to go check it out. And if you want to go on a particular week, check it out. It doesn't mean that you're committed to every week. So maybe you just don't, maybe you think on Thursday, geez, I don't think I want to have fixed lunch next Tuesday, so I'm going to go to the nutrition program. And from what I understand, it is a hot meal, so not just a sandwich. The ministerium, they met, pay attention, Russ. They met last...
They had a lot to discuss, I would imagine.
Yes, they did. They met last Thursday. I'm going to give you a little bit of history of the ministerium. The ministerium was started probably 25 years or so ago between Rabbi Nudell, who has since retired, and Pastor Kelvin Porter from St. John's Baptist in Scotch Plains. And they basically started the ministerium because they had common problems and common issues. So then they decided to start to invite other clergy people. And it has evolved into not only various clergy people from many, many denominations here in the two towns, but also somebody, the mayor appoints a representative, each mayor appoints a representative. The school board sends a representative, somebody who's usually there from the Y, somebody from Contact with Care. So it's somebody from usually well, you get the idea that it's a lot of, it's a community, not just, it's a community effort. So of course last week, usually the two police chiefs are there too. So last week, of course, there was a lot to go over because of the hate incident that had occurred at the high school. And of course, the Union County prosecutor was there, and someone who works in his office who specifically investigates that kind of particular crime. So we didn't learn anything new, because if the police know something, they're not telling us because it's still an open investigation. And I wanted, there was some rumor that I heard early on that the cameras weren't working. Not true. The cameras were working, but they just didn't get the individuals, a good impression of the individuals' faces. But in speaking with our police chief, I guess just the other day, it's still an open investigation. And if it's juveniles, we will never hear another thing about it. If it's considered, if an adult has done this, then we will know about it because it will come out in the news. But if it's juveniles, as I said, we will never hear anything about it. And just so that you know, that the ministerium is the genesis for the crop walk, which was held yesterday. And I'm here to collect money. Jim, who usually collects money, is not here. He's not feeling well. So all of my council people, please, I have a list here, keeping track of your names, so I can hand them in at the Thanksgiving service. So anybody who hasn't donated, I have my piece of paper right here. Otherwise, Jim is going to get you next month. And you know what happens if Jim comes. Also, it's also the genesis for the Thanksgiving food collection, but they also have an ecumenical service, and that occurs on the Monday before Thanksgiving, and this year it will be at Temple Israel in Scotch Plains, right on Martine Avenue. And it also is the genesis of Martin Luther King Day service and the National Night Out of Prayer. So actually, they're pretty active. Let me see what else. Okay, the library. They meet tonight. Somehow our schedule and their schedule, because of the Jewish holidays and Columbus Day, they usually meet on the second, we the third. So obviously I am not there. There's still no information for those of you who are following the progress of the library building itself and what we're going to do. The state still has not released an application. And as noted earlier, the library book sale, the Friends of the Library, made $12,700 plus by selling the other people's books, as it was coined. And they use that money for all of the programs that go on in the library. And I really hope you read your Fanwoodian, because all the special programming that goes on in the library that you may not be aware of is done with the money that they receive from the book sale. The rescue squad, I don't have a report. However, I was invited, and I went to a class at the library. At the rescue squad regarding the administration of aspirin, because the rescue squad under the present guidelines are not allowed to to give people aspirin. They're not allowed to administer nebulizers or the CPAP machine. Under new guidelines that are coming down from the state, if enough people are qualified to do this in conjunction with an emergency room, our volunteers on the rescue squad will be able to administer these things for our patients if they need them. But that's a long way off yet. Let me see. The Performing Arts Series, which was just this past Saturday, I don't usually talk about that one because it's usually, this meeting is always afterwards. But this past Saturday, they had a young man by the name of Evan Levine and his quartet. Now, Evan first played at the Performing Arts Series when he was a student at Scotch Plains Fanwood High, and he went off to Oberlin College and got his music degree, and then got his master's degree. And he came back with his quartet and played again Saturday night. And we were blown away, because not only did they play, he wrote the music for all of these instruments. The place was full, absolutely full. And the fact that he wrote all the music for the keyboard, guitar, the bass, and the timpani, it just blew everybody away. So, and here again, all of these things, I hope you're paying attention to this, okay? And to, I can't say I don't plug this.
I'm hanging on every word.
And also, yes, I'm gonna come to your home and find out whether or not you read this. And also, it's usually in the Friday Blast too, so I hope you have all signed up for that. Let me see, and the last is the Shade Tree Commission has received a grant for $9,000 for planting in the spring. And I think that's it. It's been a very busy month.
That wasn't long at all.
Good job, Kat. Good job. Before we move on to business, if you're watching us tonight from your house, tomorrow night at the high school is an important meeting that is put on by the students of the high school in response to what touched upon, which was the racist graffiti that unfortunately found itself on the walls of the the high school. Immediately after, this mayor and council issued a very strong condemnation and rebuke of the disgusting graffiti that had been scrawled on the walls of our high school. The words and the images of hate, we truly don't believe define us in any way, shape, or form. We are working with the law enforcement, and I think to clarify what Councilwoman Mitchell said, if they're juveniles, we won't necessarily know their names. And if they're adults, if they're over 18, if they find the individuals, we will. But one way or the other, there will be a resolution to this, and I believe there was actually a $1,000 Crime Stopper, I don't know if reward is the right word I'm using.
Information.
For information that was released today, to lead to further information in that. You do not need to identify yourself, and there's information that I believe will be up on our website. But we really hope that people go tomorrow night to the high school up at 6:30. And the theme is Scotch Plains Fanwood United Through. And you sort of fill in the blank of where we believe as a community, which is why if you were here when we started the meeting, we held a sign up that said Scotch Plains Fanwood United Through, serving our community. And one last plug is following that will also be a candidates forum for those who are running for the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education. Fanwood does not have any seats that are up on the election, November 6th, but there is 5 candidates that are running for, 4, right, because one dropped out. So there's 4 candidates vying for 3 seats, and we really hope that people get out and vote on Tuesday, November 6th. That is what really matters. Your vote does count to us. We don't care how you vote, we just matter that you do vote. And an important note that we're going to be really harping on is there's been a change of polling locations here in Fanwood. The Terrell Road Bible Chapel is no longer going to be serving as a polling location in the borough of Fanwood, and those who vote at the chapel will be moved over to LeGrand Park. That was done because it is not ADA compliant.
Yes.
So
Not so much outside, inside the building itself.
inside the building itself is not ADA compliant. So that's a big shift for us in our town because nobody has really voted anywhere else other than that. So we'll make sure we get the word out before now and Election Day.
Just to add to that, it's districts 4 and 5 that are affected by that. So,
Southwest of the borough.
but it's just 4 and 5.
Right, the south
Right?
only.
So if you're in 4 or 5, hopefully you know where you are, come to LeGrand Park on November 6th.
But it tells you on the ballot.
They'll get the ballots, they'll
Right.
also get a postcard from the county
Okay.
telling them about this beforehand. Apparently they went out already.
Okay, so be on the lookout, because we were out yesterday and some residents are not aware yet, so just be on the
No, I
lookout
don't
for
think
that.
anybody's aware yet.
You can also go on the Fanwood website, and the very first item is this item, and there are links to a map of all of our voting districts. You can find what district you're in by number, and there's also another one that's color-coded, so you can.
And the streets are there too. The
Yeah.
streets are there too.
Okay, so there are no special committee reports. We have one presentation of claim, and then we'll open the meeting to the public.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to move claims in the amount of $2,113,438.06, having been listed on the bill list and recorded in the files of the Borough Hall, and approved by the chairman of the appropriate committee, be paid.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Tom Kranz,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Jesse Hugo.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to come forward at this time. Seeing that there isn't anyone, can I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There is no old business. We have one piece on the consent agenda, which is to approve a permit for the celebration of, an anniversary celebration of Shield's Crossing, which will be on November 3rd, 2018. May I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Councilman Krantz, you have one resolution to move?
Yes, Mayor, thanks. I move Resolution 1810-170. This authorizes us to cancel unexpended balances in our capital budget.
Second. I have a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Councilman Carter. You have one resolution to move this evening?
Yes, I move Resolution 18-10-171, and it's a resolution authorizing the correction of the cost to the alteration of our new ambulance.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Leslie Bugle.
Did that all get straightened out?
Yes, it's, I think we paid already. Rescue Squad paid us.
Okay.
And then and it's, I think it's fixed.
The rescue squad paid the entire amount of $5,090. The vehicle is repaired and waiting for us to,
Monday.
There you go.
Monday, take a ride
Put it
up.
on the
Yay.
road.
I never had a doubt. Yes.
Maybe I had a little one.
Just a little.
Kudos to the rescue
That was when I
squad.
got one.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
I'll do Jags.
Okay.
I'll move Resolution 18-10-172. This is authorizing a minor change order on the paving of North Avenue, which should be complete soon.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I'll move Resolution 18-10-173. This is awarding a contract to T&M Associates for ADA improvements to the carriage house.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I'll move Resolution 18-10-174. This is awarding a contract Fleet Wash for the dumpster pad cleaning.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I'll move Resolution 18-10-175. This is authorizing a change order. Is this the tie-ins for the sewer?
Yes.
This is to tie in the homes to the sewer. It's a change order for Madison Avenue, which is currently being reconstructed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
And then finally, I'm sorry, finally, I'll move Resolution 18-10-178, is awarding a contract for our leaf transport. The leaves must be moved to the curb. They will be picked up.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
And a roll call?
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Councilman Yule, keeping with you.
I'll move Resolution 18-10-176. This is awarding a contract for repurposing the recycling center to Settembrino?
Settembrino.
No, I could say it correctly, Settembrino. This is Architects. This is for them to take a look at our recycling center and see what else we can do with it.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Leslie Bugle.
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Walker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then finally, I'll move Resolution 18-10-177. This is designating redevelopment area. All the lots and blocks are listed in the resolution. It's the Old South area corridor, so I'll move that to designate that a redevelopment area.
Second.
Non-condemnation, yes, redevelopment area.
May I have a roll call, please?
Justin Ezell?
Yes.
Kathy Mitchell?
Yes.
Anthony Carter?
Yes.
Tom France?
Yes.
Erin McEvoy Walker?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We'll wrap up with Antonius, your report, please.
All right, so it's been a busy month. Madison Avenue is under construction. They're about 25% completed with their curb. They expect to be completed with their curb in the first week of November, and the entire project is expected to be completed before Thanksgiving, or substantially completed. Patterson Road, about 30% of their curb and sidewalk is completed. All their drainage work is complete as well on the project. I'm hoping they finish before Halloween.
Where's this?
On Patterson Road. We may be pushing it, but we're pushing the contractor to fully staff the project to get
Right,
that.
Halloween's like,
It's
yeah.
a big day,
Yeah,
so,
it's-
we're pushing. Then the next project, North Avenue, they expect to be finished paving tomorrow and striping on Wednesday. So North Avenue is one of the roads on the 5K, so the runners will have a nice new road to run on.
Awesome.
Wasn't kidding when I said it'd be done soon.
Yeah, exactly. Wednesday.
Yeah, the contractor's pushing to get it done as quickly as possible, so it looks like Wednesday, the project should be substantially completed. We submitted the DOT grant applications for Patterson Phase 2, and that includes also Ridgeway improvements, and also for the downtown sidewalk replacement on Martine Avenue. So the DOT has that, and hopefully we get a good amount of money to do those projects next year. And that's my report. Oh, Midway. The county, which you may have seen an email today, the county is milling tonight on Midway. It'll be an overnight operation. I think it's a 2 or 3 day milling and then 2 or 3 days of paving.
Great.
So I don't know their exact schedule, but I'll get it tomorrow from the county and forward it over to Eleanor. But the chief's email should have a lot of that information on there.
It does. I got it.
All right?
Is it?
Unless you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
There's a lot of good news in that report.
A lot of busy work going on in town.
Yep.
Yep, no, it's before the weather turns and we're left, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay,
I just want to make one more comment if I can.
no.
All right, no.
Kidding.
So there, again, again, it's in here. The rabies clinic is October 24th from 5:30 to 6:30 at LeGrand Park, so.
What is it?
October 24th. At LeGrand from 5:30 to 6:30.
Councilwoman?
I just wanted to add something about the event tomorrow night and, you know, the racist, hateful stuff that got plastered all over the high school. But what I actually want to encourage people to do is to try to be open, to try not to be so defensive. Everyone wants to say that this is not a representation of Scotch Plains or Fanwood, this is not who we are. However, if people in our community experience racism, then we need to face that, be honest about it, own it, and that's the only way to change it. And if we're too busy being defensive and angry at one another for making accusations or bringing up things that other people think aren't really issues, then we will never actually resolve it. The fact is that there's racism in every corner of every community across this country and many more around the world. And it is turning a blind eye to it and pretending it doesn't exist, or somehow justifying it, that allows it to continue to grow. So I would strongly encourage the adults in this community to be responsible on Facebook, especially when you're talking to teenagers expressing their feelings. Remember, they are teenagers and they are living in that high school. and that we are there to teach them how to be adults, how to be compassionate human beings, how to be understanding, and how to be open and non-judgmental. I have honestly been very discouraged by the chatter I've seen on Facebook, and the level of hostility. So I really, really hope, for the sake of this community and the community of Scotch Plains, that tomorrow night is an opportunity for people to be open, to listen, to be respectful, and to acknowledge that racism is a reality in our nation that we have to deal with sensitively, honestly, and thoughtfully every day. And I admire the kids for taking the lead on this. I plan to be there, and I really hope that adults who care about this community and want to address this issue rather than pretend it doesn't exist will join us, and will make it an important turning point. So that's all I wanted to say.
Very well said.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Thank you. I'd now like to open the meeting back up to the public for anyone that wishes to make a comment or a statement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Is that
This is the time now if you wish to come forward. Seeing that there isn't anyone, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public? So moved.
Hold on.
Yes. Wait, wait,
Councilman Carter would like to speak.
Sure, let me close it to the public, and then
Okay.
I can turn it over to you. I had a motion and a second to close the meeting to the public. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilman Carter.
Okay, forgive me. So, first off, I'd like to start with, I'm actually reading this. So yes, there has been a $1,000 reward offered by the Union County Prosecutor's Office for information leading to the arrest and indictment or prosecution of the criminal offenders. They have a telephone number here, 908-654-8477, which is 908-654-TIPS, TIPS. You can also go to their website and submit the tip, uctip.org. You can do it anonymously, and somehow they give you a marker, identification tag number, that you can actually collect $1,000 if in fact your information results in the arrest and indictment or prosecution of those offenders who sprawl the hateful epitaphs on our high school. And just to go off that, so roughly a year ago, I was elected by our residents of Fanwood to represent them on our council and be a voice. Now the numbers, the demographic that makes up our community, those numbers are there. I think it's roughly 8% African American. So 8% African American, I believe I received about 60% of the vote. But I'm actually here to represent not the 8%, not the 60%, but the entire 100% of the residents that make up our Fanwood, and to an extent, our extended community of Scotch Plains, because we're so intertwined that although we have two separate and distinct municipal boards and bodies, we are intertwined mainly through our kids, and later through those kids become adults and they have kids. So the conversation was brought to me on several levels, individuals and parties in our community and outside of our community. Of course, one of the groups that was targeted were African Americans, and if you look at me, I'm an African American. So they said, Carter, how do we address this? But here's the thing for me. My time in this community, and again, it's approaching 20 years now. My daughter's sitting there, she's 23. So we're approaching 20 years now. And I have come across individuals in our community, black, white, Hispanic, and we have acted in unison on countless occasions to move agendas forward, positive agendas forward. We've collaborated to break down and knock down negative agendas and to do the best we can to just paint a positive but honest light on what exists in our community. Now, it's prudent for me to say, of course, that racism does exist in our community. As Councilman Barker stated, we're no different than any other community in the world. There's some sort of racism and discrimination that exists in almost all or all communities throughout the world. I had individuals speak to me who were, I'll just say, fearful of the repercussions that would come to them and to their children if they took the opportunity to speak out against, not just in this case, but in other cases that I've spoken out against in the past. So they say to me, Carter, we cannot deny that this racism does exist, and it's systemic. They walk into town hall and they do not see faces in town hall that are indicative of the demographic makeup of our community, not just in Fanwood, but in Scotch Plains. They look at the boards. First, they look at the paid boards, and they don't see faces that are indicative of the demographic makeup of our community. Then they go to our boards, outstanding commissions, and they say they don't see faces that are indicative of the demographic makeup of our community. That's when I step in. I say, well, you can change that very easily by giving me a phone call and say, Carter, how can I be more involved? And it's well known that I can walk you basically to any committee that exists in the borough of Fanwood, and you can contribute, volunteer, and be able to serve and make a difference in your community, which I have for so many years. So I had an individual say to me, and this individual was actually not African American, say to me, so Carter, you've been volunteering for 20 years, and I have seen the volunteer of the month come up in Fanwood. They watch us on television, come up in Fanwood for X amount of years. They're generations in this community, and I've never seen you receive a volunteer of the month award. And I say, of course, well, for me, that went over my head, because for me, I don't do it so I can receive any volunteer of the month award. I do it to serve my community. I do it to serve those who elected me. See, when it comes to elections, I believe you have people who are elected to win the position, and you have people who are elected to serve their constituents. And I'm going to fall on the side of the individuals who was elected to serve their constituents. Mind you, they do pay us well. You know, we all get $1 a year. I haven't seen my dollar yet. December 30th. December 30th, we'll all get our dollar. But you know, this is a time so people who are outside of the community, they recognize what's happened in our community. And it has happened. But I can say from living in the community that for the most part, we do strive to move together and work together. Now with that, again, it must be noted that there are individuals in our community who are older than I am, who have been in the community much longer than I am, who have witnessed overt racism. So where it may not be prior to this incident, and there were actually 3 other incidents in the past couple of years, may not have been as overt, it still exists. It exists it exists systemically, and again, it exists when they walk and they see the makeup of those who serve us. My year and my years with our mayor, I can say that I know her pretty well. And if anyone is progressive, serving, caring, and she's my mayor, but she has a heart that really wants to see everyone do well and be well. And if there's something she can do, she will do it. She will use her resources. She will make the contacts. These are things I know and I've seen. We all should be as diligent as our mayor and caring about our community and the well-being of all of our residents. I call to charge again everyone in our community. As Councilman Barker stated, this isn't a time for anyone to be pointing fingers at each other. Yes, as police commissioner, I am privy to some things that are happening with the investigation that, of course, I absolutely cannot speak on because it is an active investigation. I have full confidence in our Chief Trigo. As you know now, our Union County Prosecutor's Office has gotten involved. They're also very active in the investigation. And just recently, the Attorney General, their office has also gotten involved. So this isn't a situation where some say it's just being attempted to be brushed under the rug. They will use all of the resources, those entities will use all of the resources available to them to find the individuals. And we're not going to cast any light, additional light, disparaging light. We will let the criminal justice system play itself out. Because for these individuals, outside this hatred, these are criminal acts. And regardless of the age of the individuals, the race, the creed, the gender, the ethnicity, they need to be brought to justice so others can then see that this is not what's allowed in our Fanwood and Scotch Plains community. I'd like to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Councilor Perry. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Councilman?
I don't want to dilute any of the great words that were said here tonight by my colleagues to my left here. Thank you, guys. I just want to bring up two things about what Councilwoman McElroy Barker said about Facebook and posting on social media. I've talked about that here before. It seems like social media is a place where people's worst instincts just love to come out. And just because you can say it, and just because you can write it, doesn't mean you have to. That's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing I want to say is that Fanwood is one of the reasons that I moved here and that I like it here is it's this ridiculously small town surrounded by New Jersey, right? And it's not a matter of choice that we all have to kind of come together. It's a matter of necessity. We just have to. We have to live together and we have to deal with the realities of racism, but we also can come together and be nice to each other just because we can. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow night at the high school, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Rusty,
Yeah.
no?
I think I said most of what I had to say in my report. As you may or may not know, I am the social concerns coordinator for my church, and right at the moment we are hosting the homeless at our parish. And most of the people are minorities. So, and as a healthcare personnel, I have always interfaced with diverse people. So to me, this is this is very hurtful. Because I didn't grow up that way, even though I grew up in Plainfield and was exposed to different cultures. And I'm kind of ashamed that there are people in this great community who can feel and think this way. We have a lot of work to do. And after circumstances like this, everybody gets in an uproar, and rightly so. And then as time goes on, we forget and revert to our normal ways and seemingly forget. And I hope through our different houses of worship and through the school system that diversity will become a topic, a standalone topic on its own, that it is just automatic and part of our culture that this is what we talk about. And to see the good in everybody, no matter what the color of their skin is, or what they look like, or what religion they practice, or what language they speak.
Thank you. Well, I think that's it. I think it's done. So a lot of good moving words, a lot of really nice recognitions for people who give back in our community. I'm glad we were able to take a group picture for those who serve our community, which we'll put up and share heading into tomorrow. And we look forward to seeing everyone next month. And with that, I'd like a motion to close the meeting, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.